How do we manifest results we would absolutely love? That's a question I get asked a lot from my clients. So I know what I want. I'm crystal clear on my vision. I know the results I want to create in my business or in my love life, in my health and well-being, my time and money freedom. So how do I manifest those results? Hi, I'm Patricia Campbell, and I love talking about how to manifest results we absolutely love. So let's dive into it. And if you love this video at the end, please subscribe, and I'll be giving more tips every week on how to create results you absolutely love. So today, how do we manifest what we know we want? I'm going to give you 3 keys. Number 1 is really get in touch with your why. Know why it is that you want to create that result. See, we either live by default or we live by design. And most people live by default, just creating the same results or lack of results over and over and over again. And one of the ways to create a new result is to design, first of all, as you know, the vision. Create the vision, create the blueprint, and then get in touch with why. And I'm going to say by why, and it can be anything that's really important to you. But what's important is that it has to be something that's bigger than you. Because most of us don't make a change unless why we want to make that change is for something that's much bigger than ourselves. That's really important. And our why is what stokes the desire, because what gets in the way of whatever we would love, no matter how excited we are about whatever we want at the beginning, we start to lose our desire, our passion, when something gets in the way, the blocks that we have, and they're always internal blocks. So here we are, there's something, I call it what's in the gap. So you're right here. You have a dream. There's something you want, which is over here. And what's in the way of that is something in the gap. So what's in the gap is our fear. It's our limiting beliefs. And we don't love to look at that because it's painful. It's painful to look at what are our blocks. What is it that's in the way? What's in the way is our patterns. And where we don't believe in ourselves, where we think we're not good enough, where we think we can't. Where we think I had a moment there and I thought, one of mine up till now has been that limiting belief is, oh, you're too old to start something new. When I wrote the book, it was, you're too old to do this. You should have done it 20 years ago. So those are limiting beliefs that can stop us. For me, it kept me paralyzed for years. If you've read my book, you know my story. It kept me paralyzed for years from creating the results I would absolutely love. The fear of feeling not good enough, feeling like I wasn't smart enough. Grade 11 education, teenage mom, struggling. So that can block us and get in the way. That's what's in the gap. So I want to really begin to, number 1, look at our why, because that why stokes the fire of what's going to get us, and I'm going to say build a bridge to get from where we are to where we want to be. So that's really important. And what's in the gap is, like I just said, our fear, our limiting beliefs, our patterns. And that's caused by a story that we tell ourselves. And it's a story that we have made up really about something in the future that may or may not happen. And then we project it into the future. We project who we are or who we believe we are not. And so oftentimes we won't leap. We won't take the risk. And if we don't take the risk, if we don't leap, well, sure, we won't fail, because the fear often is the fear that if I try this, I'll fail, I'll be rejected, I'll make a mistake, I'll look like a fool, whatever the story conversation is. So we don't take the risk, we don't fail, but we also don't fly. And so here's a tip for you, no matter what it is you want. And I always work in 4 quadrants with my women. It's health and well-being, your love and relationships, your vocation, or whatever you do for for an income, or philanthropic, and your time and money freedom. So any one of those, it doesn't matter what area of your life it is, there's a result you would love to have. So here's the tip. I call it a hot secret, it's a tip, but do this and it really helps, is, and I'll call it fail forward. So if you try something and it doesn't work, what you want to do is fail forward. Look at 2 things that worked, 2 things that you did right that you would want to keep, and then 1 thing that you could improve on. So that's what I call failing forward, so that we can pick ourselves up and try again. And whenever you want a result, the other tip is to really learn how to, I'm going to say, get out of your head and get into your heart. Stoke the fire of your passion, stoke the fire of your desire. How? Get back in touch with your why instead of the story that lives in our head. Some of you want to learn how to reclaim your power, unleash your voice, show up and shine, share your message. But if we have a story going on that we have to somehow protect ourselves or defend, or we can't show up because we're hiding, then it's hard, because the story's running the show instead of our why, that the passion and the desire that we have. So for me, I was bullied in school. So that's one thing that I really had to learn, was how to get more in touch with my why than in touch with the story that was going on in my head. So I had to listen to my desire, not to the story in my head. So here's a, I call it, I was going to say homework, but I love to call it life work, is really get in touch with what's the cost if you don't go for manifesting this result. In fact, not only what's the cost, what's the worst part? What's the worst part for you? What's the cost to others? There's always we want to manifest a result for us, and there's always something in it for others. What is the impact that you won't make if that result doesn't get manifested? And then key number 3 is to get into action. So make a firm decision, make a firm, committed decision that no matter what, you're going to get into action. And when those limiting thoughts come up, when that story starts to rise up, what you want to do is just notice what you're noticing the story, notice the conversation, and take a deep breath. You want to calm your nervous system, because when you're trying something new, whether it's doing a YouTube video, maybe it's going to be doing a live video on Zoom, on Facebook, whether it's you're going to call a client, you're going to try and make a sale, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What happens is that our nervous system gets triggered, because we're hardwired for survivability. And our nervous system doesn't know the difference between whether we're going to do something new and because we're putting ourselves out there, right? It can be vulnerable. And our nervous system doesn't know the difference between that and being chased by a tiger for dinner. So take a deep breath, calm your nervous system. One of the best ones I was ever taught was by my coach, Kirsten Wells, breathing in through your nose, slowly but deeply, and then blowing out of your mouth like you're blowing out of a straw. Do that a few times. It calms your nervous system. Another one is to breathe in slowly to the count of 3, hold it for just a few seconds, and breathe out to the count of 6 slowly, calming your nervous system. So those are my keys today for how do you manifest results you would absolutely love. And my tagline is then not let fear, doubt, and worry get in the way of that. So until next week, remember that you can claim your power, and you can tell yourself a bigger story about who you are and why you're here. Success mindset. You can do it. And remember, if you love this video, please share it. If you know another woman that would really benefit from learning these keys and these tips to create and manifest the results that she would love, share the video and subscribe. Until next time, and see you then.